It is the commitment of this government, in spite of all the challenges that we face, that this decade must be the decade of growth for Jamaica.
And the lead ministry in the Andrew Holness-led administration has a laser-like focus on that goal. With a $13.2 billion allocation in the 2021-2022 financial year, the Office of the Prime Minister is making concrete steps to drive growth on the island. $7.32 billion has been set aside to cover operational expenses within the ministry, while $5.87 billion will support capital projects. The Registrar General's Department, the Jamaica Information Service, Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, as well as the Electoral Office and the Electoral Commission of Jamaica will be offsetting some of their operational costs this financial year.
We must get it right, as we cannot allow violence to continue to destroy our children, families, communities, and the overall quality of life that Jamaicans aspire to.
The 2-year-old National Commission on Violence Prevention is being funded to the tune of $59.3 million. The money will also support the work of the Jamaica House Fellowship Program. $17.4 million has been set aside to support the National Registration Unit's work on the establishment of the National Identification System.
Public sector transformation is so central to the agenda of this government.
So much so that the Office of the Prime Minister has earmarked $508.26 million to achieve agility in public sector services.
We are committed to putting in place the legislative, technological, and independent oversight mechanisms to ensure the rights of persons are respected and protected.
The commitment is reflected in the $2.3 billion set aside for the implementation of the National Identification System, NIDS. This economic growth project assumes the lion's share of the Office of the Prime Minister's $5.87 billion capital budget. Priority focus is being placed on the establishment of the public key infrastructure, digitization of birth certificates, upgrading of production centers and production sites, as well as the completion of the framework for the Registrar General's Department.
I think that if we're going to truly deal with climate change, we must invest in our infrastructure.
That drive is being bolstered by the $1.27 billion injection into the Jamaica Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project. Works to be completed under the project include the Port Royal coastal revetment and fire stations in Montego Bay, Port Maria, and Yalas.
We have removed zinc fences, which would be the sign of a poor community. We have repaired several kilometers of roadways. We have cleared drains. We have regular waste collection in the area. We have brought in the citizenry in terms of giving them access to critical services and amenities.
That work will continue under Phase 2 of the Integrated Community Development Project and the Jamaica Integrated Community Development Project. These infrastructure projects will include upgrades to roads, water, sewerage, and drainage in several communities. $200 million will be spent in Canaan Heights, Clarendon, Retirement in St. James, and Steertown in St. Anne. And $726.2 million will go towards infrastructure upgrades in Pink and Chestnut Lane, Treadlight, Augusttown, and Salt Spring. The funds will also cover zinc fence removal and sidewalk rehabilitation in Greenwich and Augusttown, as well as improving the environment at the Hope Valley Experimental and Augusttown schools. Other infrastructure programs will be targeted under the $684.4 million Basic Needs Trust Fund.
The second phase of the READY initiative represents a renewed focus on improving economies of scale for small and medium-sized enterprises involved in agriculture and community tourism, and mainstreaming climate resilience while enhancing market access for these businesses.
And continued investments are being made in Jamaica's burgeoning animation industry. $207.5 million is being spent on giving scholarships to 80 animators, provide internship for 300 digitization trainees, and execute the hosting of Kingston 4 Animation Festival.
This budget is not just giving back to a certain class of people. This budget is providing something for everyone in Jamaica.